The birds of the forest are very grateful to Dr. Owl. He's so kind to them. He's always there whenever they need any help, any advice, when they need some medicine, or whether they've had a bump. Nothing's too much trouble. They don't know what they'd do without Dr. Owl in the forest, and they wanted to let him know how thankful they were. But they put their heads together and tried to think of an idea, and one said, well, we could give him a thank you party. All the birds could come together for a thank you party. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then another bird said, well, couldn't we give him a birthday party? That would be better. Oh yeah, that's a better idea, a birthday party. Oh, when is Dr. Owl's birthday? The birds shook their heads. Nobody knows. He keeps that a secret. Well, how old is Dr. Owl then? Nobody knows that either. He keeps that a secret. Oh. Well, we can't have a birthday party if we don't know when his birthday is. And then Billy Blackbird had an idea. Wait a minute, he said. I remember a story I heard once. Something about having an unbirthday party. We've only got one birthday party, but we've got 364 unbirthdays in the year. So if we give Dr. Owl an unbirthday party, we're bound to hit on the right day, aren't we? Brilliant, brilliant, said the birds. We will give him an unbirthday party. So that's what the plan was. And they worked out the details, that they would have this party in a clearing in the forest, and they would have a unbirthday party broth. They would have a dish, a bowl, a pot on the boil, and all the birthdays, the birds would bring what they could from around the forest. Berries, bugs, worms, bits of this and bits of that, and they would all put their bit into the boiling pot, bring and share supper. Well, the birds thought this was a brilliant idea, and so the plot was hatched, and they got a pot, and on the day arranged they put the pot on the boil, and it was ready for all the birds to come and bring their special bits that they gathered from around the forest. And when the day arrived and the pot was boiling, blub, 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 Billy Blackbird, on some excuse, went to Dr. Owl, and he said, well, Dr. Owl, we've got a surprise for you. We'd like to come and we'll tell you what it is when we get there. So he brought Dr. Owl into the clearing in the forest where the birds were gathered and the pot was boiling. And when he arrived, all the birds struck up, Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Dr. Owl, happy birthday to you. Well, all Dr. Owl could say was, well, what a surprise, my word, what my surprise. But there was a greater surprise to come. Billy Blackbird, he gave the pot a good stir. Then he said, birds, come up, here we are, grub's ready, bring your acorn bowls and have your ration. And the birds came up with their little acorn bowls, and they had a spoonful of the brew. The first bird went back and tasted his brew or broth. Ooh, he said, this tastes just like water. Well, the second bird came up and had his ration and went back and started to taste it. Just like hot water. And began to blame Billy Blackbird for his unbirthday broth. Well then Dr. Owl, ever so wise of course, he could see what had happened. "Hoo, hoo," he said, "I can see what's happened. You all brought your little bits to the pot, but you didn't put them in. You kept them for yourselves. Now you ought to know that if you put nothing in, you can't expect to get anything out, can you? Life is like that." Well, the birds hung their heads in shame. "Never mind," said Dr. Owl, "we mustn't spoil the party, must we?" So he asked Billy Blackbird to go back to his old oak tree house and bring a bottle that he would find on the shelf there, marked BBB. Right. So Billy Blackbird went and he got this bottle and brought it to Dr. Owl, and Dr. Owl shook it into the pot and gave it a jolly good stir. And "Now, birds," he said, "hoo, birds, come and have your ration." Well, it did smell nice. Better than the previous brew, sure. Oh, the first bird had his ration and went back. "Oh, lovely," he said, "ever so tasty." And they all came up for their ration, and so said they all, "This is ever so tasty." So Billy Blackbird whispered to Dr. Owl, "What was it, Dr. Owl? What did the BBB stand for?" "Hoo, Dr. Owl said with a wink, "It was bugs and berry broth. My own recipe," he said. "Made it myself. All sorts of good things went into it, ever so good. It'll do you good. Might even make your feathers curl," he said. Well, the party went on. Grappelli, the grasshopper, he brought his fiddle and fiddled away. To his music they danced and they had a wonderful time, and they all agreed that this was a marvellous party after all. Dr. Owl's unbirthday party to say thank you to the kindest owl there could ever be. And so the party worked out all right after all. Again, Dr. Owl had saved the day. What would they do without Dr. Owl? But they still don't know when his birthday